So I've created a customized demo, which is between Jamboard and G Suite. And it's the sort of story is, my little character is Sandra Jones, and she's part of an editorial team. And the editorial team are working on articles and trying to brainstorm new articles. And then they're going to move from sort of brainstorm the new articles to actually writing the article in Google Docs and having a hangout about it, so that hopefully you can kind of see that whole creative process, creative collaboration somewhat, it's a creative collaborative process all together. So that's the sort of story that I'm going to kind of take you guys with. So we're going to start over here on the Jamboard. So everybody's going to have to creak their necks this way. Interestingly, just to note, this is a Chromebook Pixel that I have. And I don't know if you've ever seen the Chromebook Pixel. It's essentially Google's sort of top of the line Chromebook. And it's touchscreen as well. So a lot of the Chromebooks are becoming touchscreen now, which means that I can actually have Android apps on them and stuff like that, which is fantastic. And so this device is a laptop, but also I can flip it around and then it becomes a tablet. And so I've got the Jam app on here. Interestingly, it's the most popular device I've ever brought home. I have to fight for it with my son and my girlfriend, just to be able to bring my laptop to this event. It was like, Dad, I can't live without it for 2 days. I'm like, well, you're going to have to. So it's a really popular device. I think that the touchscreen thing is fantastic. I showed my son, who's 9, the Jamboard app yesterday, and I think he'll probably be demoing it at the next event. So, so I think it's interesting that you can create the content on here as well. Here, Larry, I'll let you hold that. You can join in the jam if you want. Okay, so myself and Phil are brainstorming, and we can be brainstorming with Larry, who could be in another remote location, and Sylvie, who could be in another location again. And so we're trying to brainstorm. Can I get rid of this? We're trying to brainstorm ideas for an article that we're going to write. So we've got Brexit and the economy, commuting, how will self-driving cars affect jobs, and then driving while on the phone. So they're the sort of 4 ideas that we've come up with. And then what we've done is we've split it out into, I'm not going to let people join this one. We split it out into four different sections. So we've actually brought the self-driving car one out into its own into its own section, and we've brainstormed that one. And the one that the team have decided to work on is the commuting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think of a couple of ideas here, and if anybody else wants to join in, they can. Sylvia, I don't know if you've managed to connect to this. I'm in the commuting one, which is number 3. So stress. So what kind of things are affecting people's commute, or do we think of when we think of commuting? Work-life balance. Work-life balance. We could do some down there if you want. We could do, maybe if I want some images for this, again, we could use some of the... Sorry? Cost of accommodation, yeah. We could actually all collaborate on this, cost of accommodation.
Especially in Dublin.
Yeah, so you can kind of see how we could how we could sort of easily use this for for a brainstorming session. I could use some of the see if I could do a little bike here. Oh, a one-person bike, no. I could tap on this then for the bike, and that could be my little bike icon. Maybe we'll use that. We'll put him on a little pretend bike. So you can see how this would be valuable in terms of the brainstorming process, and the same with the shapes one that you saw. Or you could use the handwriting recognition. So if you wanted to do work-life balance, if you wanted it to be sort of text that you could export afterwards. Okay, so now that we've kind of finished this, I want to save this into my Google Drive. So I'm actually going to do that on the tablet because that will be easier. Thanks, Larry. Give us the pen there, unless you want to keep it. Okay, so what I can do here is now I can switch to the laptop, and I stole this on you, Phil. Sorry. My bad. So I'm going to switch to the laptop now, and we've kind of finished our brainstorming session. And I'm going to go into the jam on here. And so I can see all of the stuff that we've been working on. I can see that some people are still on it, and I can see this particular work life one is still been worked on. But they're the ideas that I want for the article. Okay. So what I can do now is I can actually save this as a PDF, or I can save it as an image. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as an image, and I'm going to upload it into our editorial team's Google Drive. Okay, so I'm going to open up Google Drive. And this is a team drive. So you heard me mention team drives earlier on. And this particular team drive is for the editorial team. I can see all of the members of this particular team drive. And it means any document that I put in here can only be accessed by those people. So for me, I have confidence that these are the people who will see this information, and I can give people additional access if I want. In terms of a security and control, you can have lots of different permission levels depending on what kind of access I want people to have. So I'm going to upload my article in here, my little image, and I'm also going to create a new document. So I'm the journalist, Sandra. This is Sandra's account here in the top right-hand corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in the ideas here. So now I can start to write my article based on our little brainstorm, can't I? And so that's what I'm going to do. So I can start to type up the document for the team. And then what I'd like to do is, now that we've finished our brainstorming session, I want to talk to the editorial team, both the guys here, Sylvie and Phil, but also some people who are working remotely, like Gordon, who's our editor. And we need to make sure that he knows and approves the article, because he needs to look at all the articles that get printed. So I want to set some time, maybe in a couple of days, for us to jump on a video call and go over the article. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back here, and I actually have a little Google Hangout. So this is Google Hangout chat, where I can actually talk with all of the people within the editorial team. You'll notice here there's 7 people in this particular Hangout. And the Hangout chat is actually really powerful. It's something that our customers use a lot internally, and we use a lot internally ourselves. And it allows you to have this sort of fast communication. And again, when we were talking about the digital transformation and the collaboration, the different sort of levels, we're trying to move towards that synchronous collaboration, aren't we? Because it's super fast. This could be 10 emails, but I can just have a quick conversation. So I can go, hi team, I am going to set a meeting for next week to go over the article on commuting. Okay, so I can ping that, and I can see if people have viewed it or not. So as different people look at this, I'll actually see what level they've read up to. So I can see Sylvie taking her phone out there. So I can see Kat has looked at this, and Donal has looked at this, and we can see if they're going to be typing or not. Donal is typing. So we can see that he's saying sounds good. So that's great. So I'm now going to open up my Google Calendar, and I'm going to set that appointment. So we're going to pretend that I'm setting it for next week, okay? It's going to have to be a little bit of imagination here with me, people. So I'm going to set an appointment, and instead of having to add everybody individually, I've actually created a group called editors. So if I just type in editors, the editorial team comes up. I put in demo so that nobody thinks that it's not. And what that actually does is it adds everybody who's in the editorial team, and even some of these people aren't on the same domain. So you could have external workers or people. And it means that I can now easily add everybody without having to type in everyone's individual email address. And also, I can use Google's technology to see the suggested time. So this is, again, Google's AI technology coming in, suggesting when all participants are free. So it's looking at everybody's calendar and suggesting when everyone's free. So on the 12th of November, everybody's free, so that's great, probably Saturday. But I can also do find a time, which is useful, and anyone's calendar I'm allowed to see. I can see if people are busy, so it's like a double check as well, and very useful for internal meetings. I also want to add the Hangout Meet. So that's the video conferencing piece. I want to make sure that that's in the calendar so that people know where to go. And I also want to attach the documents, don't I? So I'm going to go into my Google Drive, and I'm not really attaching a document. I'm actually attaching a link because it's Google Docs. So all of the content is within that. So I'm going to attach the jam. And I'm also going to attach my article as well. The article is going to be written now. We're going to do a little bit of a time jump here. So here's one I made earlier. That's going to be the... and I'm going to call this editorial team meeting. Okay, and I'm going to save that and send that out to everybody. And that just goes out to everyone. It's just warning me that people are outside of the organization. Now, this is interesting. I've added a document to this, but some people in the editorial group don't have access to this document, and it's warning me. So if I want, I can share it with this one person and give them view, or I can just say anyone with the link can view. So that's fine. So I'm just going to invite that person. Great. So I have my little meeting, and we have the details, and I have everybody there. And now we're going to kind of jump ahead a little bit. But what I want to do for this article is I'd actually like to gather data. And the article is about commuting. So what I'd actually like to do is I'd like to gather information from our readers, because we're a newspaper. We're called the Daily Bugle. And I'd like to gather information from our readers of what they think about commuting in Ireland today. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to create a Google form. And Google form is in this little more section. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to create a Google form. And I can call my form Commuting in 2018 Dublin. And I can create multiple types of questions. So I can create short answer questions, such as, what's your name? I can create multiple choice questions. I can create checkbox questions. I can create drop-down questions. And again, I'm going to cheat a little bit and here's one I made earlier. Oh, that is not the right document. There we go. So I've created my little survey here. So, and you can see I can change the image and the header, and I can customize all of this stuff. And if we go and we look at the preview, this is what our readers will see, and this is what they will fill out. So they will actually get this maybe embedded on our website, and we can publish that this is something that we're doing, and we'd like to get this information fed back to us. And then for me, on the other end, I can see the back end. So I can see that I've had 29 responses already. So Google is actually going to collate all of this data together for me. I don't actually have to do it. So it's actually going to collect all the data together for me. And I can see that the average age ranges. I can see the average gender. So primarily men have filled it out. Or it's kind of a 30-60 split. How do people commute? Most people seem to be train or car. And if I wanted, I could just copy this, go to my article, and I could say, well, this would be quite interesting to put in. And I could just paste that image in there and put that into my article straight away. So I've been able to collect the data. Google has collated it for me. And then I've been able to paste the image in straight away. But I mentioned earlier on about Google Sheets. And Google's also putting all of this data into a Google Sheet for me. And I mentioned the AI technology, and I really want to show you guys this and how you can kind of ask questions of the data. So the little Explore features down the bottom right-hand corner, you could easily miss it if you didn't know that it was there. I've now collected all my data. I can do the kind of basic stuff, and I can pull out statistics on the age ranges. I could maybe get a slightly better image for my article around the chart, so I could pull that chart out. Maybe that chart would look a little bit nicer than the other one. But really what's important is around asking questions of the data. So when I go up to the top, I can actually, using natural language, say to Google, count the number of cars. And it's actually looked at the information and pulled out 10, that there were 10 people who responded to cars. Okay, so that's interesting, but that's something that I could have gotten from the chart, isn't it? It's not really that complex. So I'm going to ask a more complex question. What percentage of, I asked people about flexible working, and I think that's an interesting one. Allow flexible working. Google's actually predicted that that's the question I wanted to ask because I started to write the word allow. So what percentage is flexible working? So Google has looked at the data on here, and you can imagine, I've only got 29. Imagine if this was 100 or 1,000 respondents. And it's telling me that the share of allow flexible working responses is 65%. Now, the formula I would need to know for that is underneath. I definitely would not know how to do that, and I definitely would not get it right. When I do a simple sum one, I get it wrong. So you can see how Google is allowing us to extract really interesting information using its AI technology and doing the hard work for us. The machine learning AI system is doing the hard work for us. I could dig into this in more detail. Obviously, I could ask the same about some of the other areas, but hopefully this gives you an idea of what's possible within this. So I'm going to extract this little statistic for me. I'm going to say 65.15% of our respondents. So that's great. 65.15% is the little figure that I want to grab. So now I can just grab that and I can pop that into my article now. Maybe that could even be my header. Working. Okay, cool. So now I've finished my article, and I need to get my editorial team to review it. So we're doing a little bit of a time jump here now. So it's the next week, and I need to talk to my editorial team. So I'm going to jump back here, and I'm going to say, "Hey guys, I am going to join the meeting now." Okay, and if I want to get everybody onto the same page really quickly, I can just send them the link, can't I? Because it's a Google Doc. Now, they already have access to it, but this just means that everybody's on the same page really quickly, and so I would very often do that. Just throw it in there. Now, probably if they went in here to their Google Drive, you can see the AI here thing we were talking about earlier on, where it's surfacing the information that I'm looking for. So these are all the documents I've been working on, and it's pushing those up to the top, okay? So I'm going to go to my calendar appointment, and I'm going to drop into the Hangout. I'm just going to click Join Hangout here. And that's going to open up the Google Hangout. No one else is in the meeting yet. And I can, if I want, even grab the link and send it to everybody else. Here is the meeting link. If I don't want people to maybe have to worry about... Oh, that's the other one. It's the Jamboard one. If I don't want to have to worry about people having to find the maybe the link to the Hangout. So people can join the meeting, and then we can have a video call, and we can have a discussion about the document. And we can see that people have joined the document here. So I can see that Donal and Gordon and Kat have all joined the document. So if Donal and Kat, who I think are in the room, if you guys want to make some comments on it. So we can actually see where Catherine and Donal are. I can see Donal has highlighted text. Am I correct in thinking, Donal, you're on your mobile? Yep. So Donal's on his mobile device, and you can have the same editing and collaboration features on your mobile device. Gordon has asked to join the meeting, so that's great. Gordon is working remotely. Hopefully it will load. Hi, Gordon. Oh no, we can't hear you. We have no volume. Why do we have no volume? I don't think it's your side, Gordon. I think it's our side. You're just going to have to be the silent participant. Can you hear us? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, cool. I'm going to let you say hello to everybody. Come on, guys, give a wave. Come on, give a wave. There you go. There you go. We're friendly here in Dublin. He's all the way over in Scotland. Okay, so we can see Gordon's joined the meeting. I think it's because I'm connected up to the sound system here, we will be able to hear him. And I've shared the article with them, so we can see that Gordon is on the article here now as well. Gordon, if you want to make a few comments there or suggestions, he's our senior editor. And only the senior editors get those giant headphones. We don't get those. So we can see here that Donal is saying, let's review this section. Catherine is saying, is this a definite statistic? She's questioning my statistics. I better check them. Okay, I better check this before publishing. So we can actually start to have a conversation, even for people who aren't on the document. We can start to have a discussion and a conversation around what's happening. And then we can also see some live editing. So I don't know if Donal or Gordon or Kat want to do a little bit of live editing there. We'll see the changes that you guys are making. So it always gives people a color and lets you know kind of where they are within the document. Just going to grab some water. Okay, so we can see the live edits that Donal is making there. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to kind of wrap up there with the Google Sheets. Of course, checking that I've covered everything. Yeah, I think I have. Cool. Okay, so then when we're finished, I can kind of close down the document, and I can send that off to the publishers. And hopefully that's kind of given you guys an idea. Thanks, Gordon. We're going to let you go. Much appreciate your time. I'm assuming you're saying bye.
I think AI detected that he's Scottish, so
we just couldn't understand him anyway. Yeah. Yeah, they just thought there's no point. We don't have the auto translate for that. Okay, so hopefully that's given you an idea of the kind of collaborative power of Google. I really wanted to focus on the collaboration tools. Obviously, email and I showed you a little bit of calendar and some of the AI features within that. There's also Google Sites. Gmail as well, with the sort of auto response or predictive email is really interesting. But I kind of feel like they're standard things, and I really wanted to focus on the collaboration piece, particularly between the Jamboard and then moving to looking at the data, and also the Google Forms. Google Forms is a really underused, really powerful tool for collecting data easily, and you can create Google Forms in seconds. If you have a Gmail account yourself, please go and have a look at Google Forms. It's something I talk to customers about because I'm astounded at how people don't know about it. So it's a really interesting tool. We're running ahead of schedule, which is fantastic. I'm just going to talk about this little thing here. So this is my little question box. I discover from running events that some people are super outgoing, like me, and we will interrupt and we will ask questions, and some people are not. So I found this quite a nice way of people to sort of ask questions without having to stick your hand up and have everybody look at you. So if you're interested in asking myself or Sylvia or Phil, or indeed the speakers, Larry and Dave, later on, at the break or afterwards, you can just fill out one of these. They're over there, and you can just pop your question in the box. And when we do the deep dive session, I'm gonna sort of play the mic person, and I'm going to be asking the questions and stuff like that. So obviously we do want interaction as well, so that will just kind of get things kick-started, and then if people want to just put their hand up, that's obviously fine too. So that's it. Will we have we got coffee out there yet? We do. Will we break? Yeah. Do people want coffee? No, you don't want. I can continue talking for another 30 minutes if you want. Can I just give you a microphone, because I can't even hear you. Sorry. Sorry, sir.
No, you're fine. Just a quick question was to do with editing offline. Say, for example, can you provide notifications for team members if they're not online? You want them to edit a piece that they're not live collaboration?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Maybe I'll just do a couple of questions for 5 or 10 minutes, just because I've got this up. Yeah, so there's a couple of things you could do. You could highlight a section of text, and when you comment on it, you can actually @ somebody. So I could @ Donal, and that would, it will send him a notification anyway that I've commented on the document if he's on it. But what this is doing is I can actually assign it to him. So it's Google suggesting it there to me, and I can assign this to Donal. I could leave a comment saying, hey, can you review this? And so that's a great way. Often when I travel a lot for work to the UK, we've kind of a 50-50 split between customers in Dublin and the UK. And I'll often get on a plane, and Donal and Raheem and the rest of our team are working on a document, and I land and I have all these comments I have to respond to or stuff I have to review. So that's a great way to sort of work, offline as well.
Does that give him an email notification as well, or is it just when you log in?
Okay. Yeah, email notification. Does that answer your question? Yep. Yeah. Anybody else got any sort of questions on this, on the demo? Yeah. Do you want to hand the microphone just to Sergio there?
Hi, thanks. I was just wondering, how granular is the version control on those documents?
Good question, Sergio. So the version control is really granular, and you can actually now name particular versions, which is great, and particularly if you've got something like an article. Do you know what I mean? I know you work for an organization that does that kind of stuff. So I can actually go in here and I can see the edits. Now this is a fairly new document, obviously, but I can see the edits that are being made, and I can actually dig down into these if I want and see more granularly. And you can up at the top, it actually says only show name versions. So if you name a particular version, and that gets quite useful because sometimes there's hundreds of versions. So if you want to name a particular version, say, this is my one, and I need to go back to this at some stage. Also, you can take a copy of the document. So if you take a copy of the document, it doesn't copy out the version history, but maybe there's a particular revision you want, and you could put the document back to that revision, take a copy of it, and then put it back to how it was. Does that make sense? Yeah. Anybody else got any questions? Yeah. I'm gonna, just so everybody can hear.
Would you recommend forms for something that's like an ongoing live document? So let's say access request, like where people, will continually change
Yeah.
access to things because it will show when they were taken off of something, or does it always capture it as like a new submittal?
You can allow people to edit forms, so particularly if they're internal, there's more controls. Obviously, something like this in this little demo I had, it was an external. So externally, I couldn't necessarily allow people to edit. They would need to have Google accounts to kind of log in. But yeah, if it was something internal, you could definitely do that. And we have built entire apps for customers using forms and sheets and Google Script. So on the back end, somebody fills out a form, and then on the back end, some magic happens, and it's magic to me because I'm not a developer.
Real example of that. Jesus.
It's really close.
Yeah.
I nearly spilled water on my laptop there. That's what happened.
No, it's not the Pixel.
It's not my Mac.
Like that, we were using forms just so people could submit IT problems that they were having because it feeds
Dave,
every...
do you want to stand up just so people... Sorry.
this tall. So yeah, people it feeds into a live spreadsheet so that people could the IT people that we have could then sort of see the results or see any issues that were coming up live. So and then you could also track. You could see what's happening an awful lot is there's printer issues that we're having that's cropping up a lot. So it's just this spreadsheet that fed on from an ongoing form. So yeah, it was just open all the time and people were just able to input their stuff.
Cool. It's cool. It's a discussion happening before the discussion.
We use in kind of a similar way, but for
Sergio, do you want to just tell people where you're from?
Oh yeah, sorry. So I'm from a company called Distilled. We have 3 main websites that people from Ireland know: is daft.ie, don'tdeal.ie, and adverts.ie.
I think I've heard of one of them.
Yeah, those are ours, and so we've been using G Suite since we started, and. The way we use forms is equipment requests. So we have Google Forms for people to request equipment, and what we have is we use the API to have a Slack integration. And when someone asks for something, the IT team gets it a Slack message right on time. So that helps us greatly. It's nice to have all of the requests on the spreadsheets, so we can go back and check the status of them, so it's like a history. But we also get the requests right on time because of that Slack integration, so it's really good.
That's a really awesome use case. You're talking at my next event. That's a really cool use case. Anybody else got any questions? Yeah, sure, yeah.
Could you actually find the differences between 2 spreadsheets and then merge it? As in a
What do
different
you mean
version?
by find the difference? Just
Like
elaborate.
version 1 and a version 2 had a couple of changes, and the changes between the version 1 and version 2 could be highlighted, and just while you're publishing an article, you could just pick the ones which are relevant.
I'm trying to think how you would do that. Out of the box, I don't think so, but you might be able to do it with either an add-on tool. There's an interesting add-on tool called SheetGo, which allows you to merge Google Sheets, so you can have multiple sort of data in lots of different sheets, and it pulls it together into one. So you could have Google Forms going into different sheets, and then it pulls into one giant master sheet for you, which is great. I use SheetGo all the time. There's a lot of interesting add-ons and things like that, and there's add-ons within both Google Sheets and Google Forms and stuff itself. So if in here, and we use this with Brown Bag Films actually, when we were doing the training for them, we were training 400 people or 500 people across 2 countries in 4 or 5 weeks, and so there was a lot of people to coordinate. And one of the challenges was that everybody wanted the same training slot. And so when people would fill out the training form, we would get like 50 requests for the one. When we send the email, I get 50 requests for the one training session, and so the training session would be oversubscribed immediately. And so we weren't able to remove the option for Monday at 9 o'clock fast enough, basically. And in the add-ons, we found a little form eliminator that actually would eliminate the choice when it had reached a certain number of submitted forms. Little tiny add-on, somebody made in their spare time, give it away for free, amazing, so useful. And so what that meant was when people were filling in the form, say, I'd like to get my training on Monday or Tuesday, when it hit 10 or 15, which is sort of our max for the training room, then it just removed that choice that just didn't exist anymore on the form. So it was able to edit the form for us. Does that make sense? I feel like it did to me, but maybe not to everybody else. So the add-ons are fantastic, and there's add-ons in Google Docs and Google Sheets. Some of them are pay for add-ons, some of them are free, and the varying degrees of usefulness. But I will always go and look at the add-ons first and just see if I can't do it out of the box, has someone else had this problem? They probably have. Have they created a solution for this? Oh, I half answered your question. Anybody else got any questions before we break for coffee? Yeah. I'll have no questions left in the deep dive.
If you have an on-premise email system, how does it integrate with the likes of this?
With the document side, or?
Yeah, well with you show the Google Calendar there being populated, but if you have an on-premise, say, Exchange email system, can you integrate with that?
Well,
obviously this is cloud-based, but obviously we have an on-premise email system.
Yeah. So there's two. There's two kind of options there. Google have actually recently launched at their next conference, which was a month or so ago. They launched the ability or the sort of SKU within the options of purchasing Google, a Drive-only SKU. So if you wanted, you can actually buy Drive Enterprise now, and it doesn't have the mail and calendar side. It just has Drive and Vault, and you only pay per active user and stuff like that, which is great. And so if it was sort of the collaboration tools, the collaboration side, the meetings, the video conferencing, all that kind of stuff, and the docs that you were interested in, you could deploy that and still keep your kind of mail exchange server, and some customers do that. The other side would be to kind of, going back to my other slide of, where do you want to enter my last question to you, where do you sort of want to enter the conversation? In that case, you would be migrating your Exchange mail and calendar over. I believe that's what you guys were on Exchange before, were you, Larry? What were you guys on? Some other unknown system. All right, okay. So long ago. But yeah, a lot of our customers would be on Exchange, and so you're migrating from that traditional system, and that's the migrate piece that we would help customers with. You're moving your email and your calendar over to G Suite, and so you no longer need your Exchange server then. And then with the team drives now, we've even some customers getting rid of their file servers and moving that to the cloud. But a hybrid solution in some cases is possible, and that's where we would come out and discuss what are your particular requirements, and how can how can we sort of help you with that integration? I mean, at the moment, I know Larry will be talking about it later on, but the Irish Examiner has been bought over the Irish Times last year, and so that's an Exchange environment and a Google environment, and even in the Irish Times, they've got some people using Google. So they've got a mixed stack at the moment, and they're looking at integration points, and should they have everybody in the Irish Times just on G Suite, or what makes the most sense? And that's where we would come in as partners and have that discussion with you guys. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Can I ask one more quick question for Sylvie? Sure. With the Jamboard, can you use other productivity applications?
So as of now, there is no third-party integration, but coming up will be a viewing mode for third-party, but that will not be before next year. But that's a directional.
A viewing mode for third-party applications?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
The reason why I ask is if you're doing customer presentations and they don't use Google G Suite and they're looking to share a document with you, how can they do that without G Suite applications?
They can, if you're using Hangout Meet, you can share your screen and show any document.
Okay.
In the
meeting. You could do a screen share on the Jamboard, couldn't you? And you've got HDMI in, no?
Well, not combined with Jamboard at this point. But if you're joined, we were now joining a meeting, as any collaborator, you can share your screen. But there will be features coming on with third-party integration, because it's kind of a big ask feature.
Yeah, and there's some interest, and that's the amazing thing. You buy this hardware device, but it's getting better and better and better.
Yeah, updates. I didn't mention that, but we have updates every 6 weeks that happen seamlessly on the board, and you can also submit your feature request directly from the board.
Cool. Anybody else got any other questions? Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, no, you go first, and then I'll come to you, Sergio.
Just any compatibility issues relating to the Jamboard from the phone, tablets,
In which mean?
The Jamboard app is available on Android and iPhone, so it's available on all platforms.
Yeah. So the only limitation, if you call that limitation, is that you at least need a Gmail address to use the app.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So even if you were, let's say that you're a G Suite user, you invite some customers to collaborate in Jam, you can invite them with their professional email. As long as you accept them in the session, they will come in, and as a default, a Gmail address will also work. If they don't have that Gmail, then, like I said, you can still send them a PDF.
Okay. Yep.
But they could just have a free Google account, any sort of free Gmail account. Cool. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Sergio, sorry, over to you.
Sorry, quick one. Is there a time limit on a Jamboard session?
So there's no time limit, but that's coming. I think we'll have a auto close after.
That'd be like from a security point of view.
Very good.
Yeah, yeah. It's not yet, but that's also on the roadmap. Yeah.
And there's some new integrations coming with Google Meet as well. The Jamboard and Meet, the sort of Google's conference room technology. So.
But as a user, for now, it's your responsibility as the owner of a Jam to close it when you leave the room.
I want the opposite. I don't want to close it.
Oh, you want to leave it on?
We have distributed dev teams, and I would love to use that as our Kanban board.
Yeah, so you can stay on. This one will stay on as long as I don't hit close, it will stay on. If your board is on, yeah.
But you are bringing that time limit, right?
But that's
it's optional.
That's going to be an option.
Okay,
yeah.
great, perfect. Yeah.
You come to me. I'll get you a Jamboard that won't turn off.
It's just right now. It's just a screensaver that comes on as you see after. Yeah.
Anybody else? No. You don't have to have questions. We're nearly at coffee time now. So.
Just on the Jamboard itself, is it on the purchase of it?
You're fairly loud anyway, so it's okay. Yeah. We can hear you.
Just on the Jamboard itself, on the costing.
Yeah, do you want to talk about costing, Sylvie?
Price? You want to know
price?
And we'll go through price.
You have a pre-slide made up?
No.
You're in my one now.
Yeah, I'll just. So the board itself, if you purchase it to mount it on the wall, in euros, it's 4,699. Then if you want it on the rolling stand, you have to add 1,199. And then you have an annual support and maintenance license of 549.
And then is there a cost on the collaborative, add-on collaborative tools?
No, it's a core service of G Suite. So it's a G Suite.
Sorry, do you mean hardware. G Suite itself, or the G Suite pricing is basic, business, and enterprise. The basic is, am I going annual or monthly? 40 euros per user per year, and the business is 96 euros per user per year. I think in sterling as well, so that's what I have to think about it. And then I don't know offhand what the enterprise is. I don't know if there's any Googlers out there that want to. Now everybody thinks in sterling. Per user per month for you guys think monthly, don't you? Yeah. And most people want to know annual costs, so I always think like that. So that would be for the G Suite collaboration tools, and then the Jamboard is sort of a separate. The app for Jamboard is free, so I mean you can download the app and use it, which is how a lot of people test it out.
Yeah.
And
it's the way we really encourage customers to get familiar with what Jamboard can do. On the tablet, you have the exact same set of features as if you were on the board. On mobile, it's a bit more limited because of the side of the screen. And on the web, you also have most of the features there.
What I might do is just get a pricing slide that I can put up after the break.
Just a quick question.
Just for people to have a look. And we'll be sharing all of the slide decks out, so I'll make sure that pricing one is included. I should have done that, sorry.
Is the user subscription based on a certain amount of people, or is it unlimited?
So
for Jamboard or G Suite?
For Jamboard.
Yeah, for Jamboard, all you need is one license. If you were, like we have customers who are non-G Suite environment, so they will need to purchase, we would recommend like at least one license for each Jamboard user, but it will work with.
It would allow
one
you to
single-
manage it, you see, from the G Suite control panel. So.
Yeah.
And can you use Jamboard and other productivity like whiteboards currently?
No.
Okay.
It would be locked to.